We live in a world that is completely obsessed with straight lines. You know what I mean, right? Endless economic growth, linear supply chains, profits that just have to keep going up, up, up. But today, we're going to flip that geometry on its head. In this explainer, we're diving into how the ancient tenets of Daesun thought and those circular principles of yin-yang actually offer a profoundly structured alternative to the traditional economics we're so used to. Seriously, what if we've been looking at the basic mechanics of our world entirely wrong this whole time?
Before we even think about looking at charts or digging into the data, we've got to ask ourselves a pretty massive question. What if the solution to our modern economic crises, I'm talking about massive resource depletion or those brutal boom and bust cycles, what if the fix is actually hidden in ancient cyclic logic? I know, it sounds a bit wild at first, but the contemporary significance of this cyclic economic view is incredibly powerful, and honestly, modern complexity science is only just now starting to catch up to it.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to hit 5 key areas. First, East versus West economic views. Second, the science of yin-yang. Third, complementarity, flow, and harmony. Fourth, feedback loops and spirals. And finally, a new economic paradigm. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. East versus West economic views. Let's kick things off with the fundamental clash between these foundational systems. It really is a tale of two entirely different approaches to reality, and the contrast here is just brilliant. See, the West traditionally defaults to this reductionist subtractive approach. It's constantly trying to chop matter down to its absolute smallest possible particles just to understand it. It's kind of like trying to understand an entire thriving forest by obsessively staring at a single leaf under a microscope. Eastern Daesun thought, on the flip side, views the world through a holistic, symbiotic lens. It's all about the circulation of the whole forest. While the West built a linear, growth-based economy, the East built a system around the circulation of all matter as a unified whole. And here's where it gets really exciting. Concepts like Gödel's incompleteness theorems and modern complexity science, they're actually beginning to validate this ancient circular logic.
Section 2. The science of yin-yang. Okay, so how does this holistic view actually work as a hard scientific mathematical system rather than just some philosophical idea?
We'll notice how the 5 phases are mapped out here: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Now, this isn't just poetry. It's mathematically proven to be the absolute minimal system required for mutual conflict and mutual generation to actually occur. Think about it. To have a self-sustaining engine, where elements both create each other and keep each other in check, 5 is the magic odd number, and 8 is the even. That makes the Eastern 5 phases and 8 trigrams the literal archetype of circular logic. It's a completely self-sustaining engine.
Section 3. Complementarity, flow, and harmony. Let's break down this circulation into its distinct forms. We're going to translate these abstract Eastern concepts into tangible Western economic systems, one by one. The first form of circulation we run into is da-de, which literally translates to face one another and wait. It represents the static, complementary harmony of opposites. Just picture buyers and sellers in a market. They have completely opposite goals, right? But their differences don't just violently clash. Instead, they form a complete, functioning economic existence together exactly because of that opposition.
This underlying concept is known as Iyang Hapduk, where yin and yang maintain their distinct natures to create blessings. And when we map this to modern economic thought, it perfectly mirrors the core tenets of libertarianism. In both of these systems, the focus is strictly on independent entities maintaining their distinct natures and their autonomy. By aggressively protecting that individual difference, they actually create a dynamic system of freedom and mutual generation.
Let's move to the second form, Yuhang. If Dade was the static wait, Yuhang takes that pent-up potential and turns it into dynamic flow. It's much like the changing of the seasons. It's the active rotation, where time and motion physically turn the wheel.
This dynamic, flowing balance is beautifully represented by the fountain principle. When yin reaches its absolute extreme, yang arises, and vice versa. This creates a state known as Dafeng Jing Yang, where balance enables eternal circulation. Over in Western economics, this translates flawlessly to communitarianism. Just like water continuously flowing through a fountain, individual components are constantly cycling and achieving balance for the sake of the ongoing circulating community.
Now, the third core principle is Zhenghua, and this one is all about the center. Zheng means center, and Hua means harmonizing. It essentially represents the deliberate act of harmonizing the periphery right from the very core of the system.
In this framework, humans are totally unique because we possess both yin and yang, spirit and body. This makes us the active agents of harmonizing. We facilitate Hawan Sang Sang, which is the process of resolving the grievances that pop up from imbalance, aiming for a total harmony where grievances just no longer occur. The direct economic parallel here is utilitarianism. Just as Zhenghua seeks to harmonize the periphery from the center, utilitarianism is fundamentally about pursuing the common interest and maximizing overall utility and happiness for the greatest number through deliberate, careful balance.
Section 4. Feedback loops and spirals. So we've got opposition, flow, and harmony. But how does this whole system actually sustain and grow itself over a long period of time without just burning out?
That brings us to the fourth principle, Hogui. This is the absolutely crucial feedback loop that sustains circulation by operating from outside the cycle. In Daesun thought, if you act to obstruct circulation, or if you fail to repay grace, it becomes a grudge that inevitably returns to you. It is the ultimate mechanism of accountability. Simply put, the energy you put into the system, whether positive or negative, is guaranteed to circle back to you. This feedback process is deeply tied to Sin and Jawa, where humans harmonize with the divine in this beautifully self-organizing way. By observing the rules, humans ensure the societal cycle continues healthily. It's fascinating, really, because this maps flawlessly onto social contractarianism in Western thought. That's the idea that we all implicitly agree to observe certain rules and provide mutual feedback to make sure our societal engine doesn't just collapse on itself.
Now, the crucial point to remember here is that this isn't just about endlessly repeating circles, running like a hamster on a wheel. When you take the chaotic, progressive motion of a straight line, the chaos, and you combine it with the ordered cosmos of a circle, you get a growing, developing state known as chaosmos. Its structure and unpredictability working together in total harmony.
And you see this everywhere. The natural world, from the shape of our DNA to the spin of entire galaxies, moves in growing spiral patterns. This is the fifth form. It aligns directly with modern complexity economics and the principle of increasing returns. Instead of the traditional Western assumption of diminishing returns, this spiral motion, known as Zheng San's principle of multiplication, completely transcends standard systems to actively multiply wealth and production as it spins. It's a type of circulation that actually grows the pie rather than shrinking it.
Section 5. A new economic paradigm. Let's step back for a second and look at how this ancient blueprint unifies into a single, comprehensive worldview.
When we put it all together, we see exactly how these 5 forms of Yijing circulation provide a complete, highly structured paradigm. You've got Deidai linking to libertarianism, Yuhang to communitarianism, Zhenghua to utilitarianism, Huigui to the social contract, and the spiral mapping to increasing returns. It basically proves that Daesun thought isn't just some abstract religious or philosophical idea. It's a structured, viable alternative to our modern economic crises, predicting the very things that complexity science is telling us right now. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought. We have spent centuries building our economies on the absolute assumption of a straight line: take, make, use, and dispose. But in a universe that is fundamentally built on growing spirals, self-organizing harmony, and interconnected feedback loops, how much longer can we realistically afford to bet our future on a simple, straight line? It might just be time to embrace the curve.